Welcome to today's video. We're going to have a super casual, laid back series check-in for quarter 2, mid-year of 2025. Let's break down first what our goals were. I do have my computer here to reference what my goals were or any of the stats. That's what I'm doing if I'm looking down. But the first goal was 25 or less series in progress. The second goal was 30 or more series completed up to date. Again, up to date just means that if a series has books coming out, I've read all the books that have come out so far in that series. And then when a new book releases, it will go back to in progress. So that can be kind of hard to keep that up. So that's why you may see some fluctuation in that. Those are really the only goals, numerical goals that I have. However, obviously I want to just get as many of the series done as possible. We finished off the end of quarter 1 with 241 series in progress, 33 DNFs, 144 to start, 38 in progress, and 26 completed. Now that we're finishing the first half, second quarter 2025, we are now at a total of 255 series that we want to do. DNF's 34 now, so we've DNF'd one more series. We'll go over the details of those shortly. I have 155 series to start. Added in a few series to the list. We have 36 in progress. We've actually brought that down because we have finished 30 now. So we brought that up 4. So we've made quite a bit of improvement. We'll start with the series that I DNF'd, which was the Fairy Concerto. This is an indie self-published author. It was too much like A Court of Thorn and Roses, and I had just finished reading A Court of Thorn and Roses series. Spoiler alert, that's one of our finished series. And I just felt like it was too similar. I wasn't invested in the story. I don't think that series is ever going to get finished, so that partially came into my thought process in this. There was a lot of other books I really wanted to get to, and I just was not invested. It wasn't worth my time. I don't think the writing was necessarily bad. It felt like I just got done reading that story, and I was just reading it again with a slightly different twist and being about music versus painting and etc. Now, series that we've added in quite a few series that I want to read, and a lot of these I've added in because they're new series that are coming out either this year or I've seen something about them. So just briefly, we'll go over the ones that I've added because there have been a lot. I did have The Throne of Glass after I read the first of A Court of Thorn and Roses. So I was like, oh yes, I love this. I don't know if that's going to stay on there. Full disclosure, because I just don't know. Again, about the Sarah J. Maas, I need your input. Do I continue on with Sarah J. Maas, or do I just call it good and move on? Or what other series in that kind of genre would you recommend? I need to know. Another spoiler, I finished the Arc of Size series by Neal Shusterman. Absolutely love that series, and I wanted to potentially read more by Neal Shusterman, so I had looked at some of his other books, and there was 2 series, the Skinjacker trilogy and the Unwind series, that looked really good to me, so I ended up adding those in. A lot of these are from series, and they're coming out soon, so a lot of these only have one. Some of these have more. For instance, Dangerous Damsels already has 3. Hierarchy has 2 books in the series, so I'm really interested in reading those. We also added the Season of Carnage trilogy. However, there's only 1 book out so far. A Dearly Beloved series, Arcana Academy. I love me a good magic school. Love that. Northfall, Scottish Charms. They're all new ones. I don't remember right off the top of my head about the Hierarchy and Dangerous Damsels. Those look like they have 2 and 3 books out. I think those are from some other people's mid-year book freakouts or best of or just book reviews that I've seen, and they've come out. Those are a lot of the series that we did. So now let's talk about the series that we finished, which is A Court of Thorn and Roses. We read all 4 of them, and I had some really mixed feelings about whether I want to finish with Sarah J. Maas. The first one gave me very much Discovery of Witches vibes. I enjoyed them. The second one, still enjoyed. Third one started to lose me, and I probably would have been fine stopping there. I ended up finishing it all out. A Court of Silver Flames just makes me angry. I really disliked after that. I need to know, so please let me know down below, is like the Throne of Glass series, or what is the other one? Crescent City is like a Throne of Glass, and Crescent City is that the other two series. Are they worth reading? Are they more in the fantasy world building realm than the romantasy love realm? Which is really what I was looking for. So I did finish that. I don't know that I would recommend that. I think if you're a really big smut fantasy romantasy reader, like you want your fantasy to have heavy romance and smut scenes, then yeah, go for it. But if you're looking for like a really well done world building epic fairy fight, not gonna get it. I finished that series in April. I finished in June the Cerulean Sea Chronicles by TJ Klune, The House in the Cerulean Sea, and Somewhere Beyond the Sea. I really love these. I think for this one, there's the perfect amount of magic with these. The world building's really great. Character building is done phenomenally. I mean, it's TJ Klune. He does such a fantastic job with character building. I absolutely loved the message and how heartwarming it was of inclusivity, not judging a book by its cover, standing up for people's rights, just all that really heartwarming family love, family not necessarily being blood, but like who you choose to be, all of that. I just think it was so well done throughout the book. So in the first one, you're seeing the relationships build. You're seeing Linus Baker, who's the caseworker for the department in charge of magical youth, going to Marsyas Island to make sure that Arthur Parnassus is doing a good job of taking care of what they consider like the most dangerous of magical youth that are on this island. Somewhere Beyond the Sea, you're hearing more about Arthur's life and how he became who he was and maybe his secrets. You're also seeing the kids grow up, and I think you did a great job of growing those kids and seeing those developments and having your investment in it. I think that the story arc of Sal and his development is executed splendidly. I just think it was really well done, and I really enjoyed that series. I do feel like it being a 2-book series, like it feels like it ended on a good note. I don't know that I necessarily want to see another book come out in that series, but maybe. Who knows? A series I started is Glimmer Falls, A Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon. So I did start that. That's a romance. I enjoyed it. I think Mariel Wazra's relationship and storyline of arc of their relationship development was well done. I think it was fun in the way that they did it. And I think that it was a good amount of magic and love for me that I'm interested in keeping reading them. There looks like there's 3 of them, so I have 2 more to read. And I think that was it wasn't anything out of this world, but I did enjoy reading it, so I'm going to continue to read that one. I finished the Indian Lake trilogy by Stephen Graham Jones, so that would include My Heart is a Chainsaw, Don't Fear the Reaper, and The Angel of Indian Lake. This for me was hands down Jade Daniels. I loved her as a character. I think the way he added in, so this is following Jade Daniels. She's obsessed with 80s slashers. She's writing her history teacher a slasher 101. And you see part of the story through like Jade's point of view, but then you also see it through this story. The way Jade writes, the way Jade's personality is, she's very charismatic and charming in this very dark, off way. And I don't know, I just want to hug her. I'm like, oh, you're my favorite. And so I like the way that he told the story through the paper and through the point of view. But in all of these, there's some kind of slasher horror coming to life. Nobody's listening until it's too late. How he writes Jade through the trilogy, especially between the first and the second, when she's been off at prison for 4 years and she's coming back to Proofrock for the first time, you just truly see the change and the shift in Jade, and it's heartbreaking. Yet you're seeing her develop, and that's exciting also. But you see, she almost, I don't want to say she's defeated, but there's this change of her loss of innocence coming to reality almost. you're seeing her develop better relationships, which is really fun to see. And you see those relationships develop and those close-knit connections happen throughout the series that in the beginning she is really wanting, she doesn't have. I just think that hands down, Jade, I mean, she's the main character, but hands down, Jade, the way he wrote her, all of that was done flawlessly. And I still just get such a soft spot in my heart for Jade. The Kestra series, I technically DNF'd the last one at like 100 pages left, but we're calling it good. But I did finish that series. Not really my favorite. This is a YA. It's a really old YA. It's like from my youth YA, from my favorite author growing up, Amelia Atwater Rhodes. Some of it is just that it's a YA book, so it's not necessarily written for me. It felt very surface level. I was not really invested in this world of avian and serpents, and they can shift between avian and serpent and they don't get along. And I just didn't ever invest in the story or the world. So they're short, they're quick, whatever. Finished the Arcasai series, hands down, love, favorite. This is a world of utopia. They've defeated death, but then there's scythes that go for population control. Citra and Rowan are scythe apprentice. They became scythe apprentice because they stood up to a particular scythe. And because of that, they became the scythe apprentice. And now we're seeing the world through what it's like to be a scythe apprentice and what it's like to be a scythe. And the world of the scythes is in chaos. We're seeing more in the second book through the Thunderhead, which is AI. It keeps the world happy. I think the world building in this is fantastic. The character building in this is fantastic. The story between the three never got old. It felt like it was continually building on each other. New stakes were coming in. It wasn't just the same stakes, like reaching it at crescendo. It felt like we were kind of getting there. Occasionally you'd solve a stake and then there'd be a new one, or they would just continue to build and grow. I just think it was fantastic and really well executed, which is again why I added in some more of his stuff, because I really liked his writing. Just to recap, I'm sorry that this is super laid back. You know what? Sometimes we need those. We just need to talk books. It doesn't need to be all fancy. The 4 series we finished, just to kind of wrap up, the Arcasai series, the Kestra series, the Indian Lake trilogy, and A Court of Thorn and Roses. I think overall we're making progress on the series. Obviously, we have 155 series still to start, so we're not in any way anywhere close to finishing these anytime soon. We would also have to read all of these, because I do have that information. To read all of these, we would have to read 708 books. So if I read on average about 100 books a year, that's going to take us 7 years. And I can guarantee more is going to be added. So, we'll see. Some of these are going to end up being DNFs. Some of these are books I will never ever get to reading. And that is heartbreaking. Like, do you ever think about that? There are so many books you want to read, and some of them, like, the reality is you're never going to read them. Because by the time you read all the stuff you want to read now, and you get to those, there's 100 more things you want to read. Like, that seriously sometimes breaks my heart to think about. Anyways, that is all. Let me know what series you are reading or read, or if there's any series you suggest that I read, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, witches!